remaining 3 more short topics here that covers the additional software available from Vim. One being the Enterprise Manager here. Now, this Vim Backup Enterprise Manager required to install separately. That comes with additional SQL instance requirement. So this software is used to federate, centralize, manage all your backup servers job, especially. Now, if you have multiple backup server deployed, for example, you have backup server used in maybe Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, different countries of backup server, and it is managed by a teams of members. So how can you actually manage them in a centralized location? You can utilize this Enterprise Manager, add on all the backup server that you need, and you can now combine the view here using a web application offered by the VBEM to check your job status. So what can you do? First thing, I can start, stop, clone, and edit the job. At least from here, I can see whether the job is having any issue or not. That only trigger me to check in each of the infrastructure. Okay. So if the job is successfully been done, you don't have to do anything to it usually. Centralized license management. Okay. And they offer additional features such as one-click restore. Using this web UI from Enterprise Manager, I can offer additional recovery portals, so-called. And then with this recovery portal, I can offer granular rights permission, delegation to some of the administrators to restore their own data. All right. And additionally, we have this lost password protection enabled. So if you go to your backup server, okay, so under your backup server, when you go to your main menu, open up the configuration backup. Now you will see here, we have this loss protection enable. Now this loss protection enable with a green check here is to indicate that the backup server is added to the Enterprise Manager, and the Enterprise Manager will give additional protection to your password, whereby if you lost your password, you forgot the password they used to encrypt the backup file, Enterprise Manager will keep additional key here in the application, and they can help you to decrypt your backup file without a password. So it will be handy for you. For example, if one of the administrators locked the file and they leave the company, no way to be found for the password, this will be another additional things that you can restore. So usually I will install this Enterprise Manager together, because the license will follow your backup server. They don't require any additional license. They only require Enterprise Plus licensing if you plan to perform granular rights permission delegation. If not, by default, using standard even, they can offer this lost password protection already. Yeah. Okay. So another thing here is to offer the guest file system indexing. Now, you offer a web portal for people to restore your data using VBEM. I do offer search function here too from the same portal. Now this search function will require the guest file system indexing. When I back up my virtual machine data, I will keep a set of index, giving you information regarding your file's location. So when I search it, going through the index, I know where does these files come from, in which backup, restore point, etc. things like this, that I can restore file level data using this search function. So if you are not using Enterprise Manager, then there is no point for you to enable this guest file system indexing. For current time, it will only be the Enterprise Manager can utilize this feature. Right. So if you plan to use it, then you need to enable this in your backup job. If not, just disable the option. So another feature here is to offer granular permission delegation. So I can grant some of the administrator, maybe database admin, exchange admin, etc., for them to restore data self-service using Enterprise Manager. So they can log in using Enterprise Manager, and they can proceed to restore their own data. Define here which virtual machine that they can actually touch. Okay. Then below you will see allow to restore what kinds of data here. Okay, so they can also control whether they can touch, exchange data or database data or not. So this will be rather handy. And in your backup software, Veeam currently your VBR server does not have this feature built in. They will require the enterprise manager to offer this restore portal so-called. Alright. So this is the enterprise manager additional feature. Any question they want to ask here for enterprise manager? Okay, pretty short one for enterprise manager. Then we will go to the Veeam1 software. Okay. So Veeam1 software, next thing is the additional software that you have together with Veeam. Now, if you purchase Veeam Availability Suite, okay? So Veeam comes with a few software package. If you buy VAS, Veeam Availability Suite, the license comes with Veeam1 software. Okay? Remember, yeah? If you buy Veeam Backup and Replication software package only, it does not come with Veeam1 licensing. Okay? So another cheaper solution will be the Veeam Backup Essential. If you get the Veeam Backup Essential, they also come with Veeam1 license inside. Okay, so this is a bit different here. So Veeam1 is included in the package. So if you have the license, you need to perform additional installation for this software. Okay? They require also the SQL server support. So if you have the SQL Express, then you create additional instance over there. So your enterprise manager, your Veeam1 can also install into your backup server. If your backup server have the resources, yes, they will require some RAM memory and also CPU, okay, ongoing to the same machine. So when I already have this Veeam1 software installed, what is the functionality mainly? This Veeam1 is the monitoring and reporting software by Veeam. So you will see that from your backup server, they actually have a lot of limited information available. That all this report and information can actually be generated using Veeam1. Okay? So if you see some info missing, you can't generate it from backup server is by design like this, because your backup software is mainly used to configure and manage your backup and replication. So it's not designed for reporting. If you want to generate nice report, nice statistics, history, etc., you should be using the Veeam1 software. Right? Now, Veeam1 not only used for backup, okay, in Veeam, they also able to add in VMware environment, vCenter or ESXi, vCloud from VMware, or Hyper-V. Now, after I add in this few platform, Veeam1 can also use as a monitoring tool for VMware and also Microsoft Hyper-V. And so this will be another additional network management system for virtual environment and also backup. So if you are still looking for solution to maybe give you monitoring into these few category, you can try to use Veeam1. You can download the maybe trial license, etc. to test the function. If you really need it, you can upgrade your license package into maybe VAS, things like this. Okay? So this Veeam1 software comes with two parts. Veeam1 component here. First thing we call the Veeam1 client. Okay? Veeam1 client is the new name. Old name we call it the Veeam1 monitor software. Okay? So Veeam1 client comes with also the business view function that we'll see later. Another component is called the Veeam1 web client. Now the Veeam1 web client formerly called reporter software. So you will see the older name is much more direct. Yeah. New name now is called Veeam1 client and then Veeam1 web client. Now Veeam1 client require console software UI to connect. So you need to install the console software in another machine to connect remotely. Vim1 web client do not need to because the reporter software by default offer browser-based web UI access. Okay? So one is in charge of monitoring, gathering information and data from the platform. They pump into the DB. And then all this data inside your DB, the web client can pull them out to generate nice report for you. Okay, so these two works together and share one single database instance here. Okay, pretty easy. So now when you look into the monitoring part, I'm able to monitor the backup and also virtual infrastructure. So they will give you some notification if you set up email configuration here using SMTP server. They will send even email notice to the administrator regarding certain status or your backup component or your virtual environment, etc. That's what we call alarm. Okay, so the software you can see with nice chat, etc. for monitoring information, and you can also generate alarm based on the predefined alarm item that is sitting inside the Vim1 client software. And so by default, they already have all these predefined alarm. I just need to check which alarm that I am using. I just need to change the parameter to suit my environment. Maybe the default predefined alarm number in parameter might be too high or too low. You need to change it to suit your environment instead. Okay? So we can generate alarms for VMware, Hyper-V, and also Vim backup. So if you do not have any network management system in mind, this might be another good idea for you too, okay, to give you this additional feature. Okay, so that is for the Vim1 client for monitoring and alarm. Okay. Now, another cool feature here for Vim1 server is that we do offer this what we call Vim1 web client software. Now, this Vim1 web client, first thing, they can offer dashboard function that you can utilize the predefined dashboard here, or you can create a custom one that includes the widget or information that you want to put in. So this can pump it to a big TV for you to give you some heads up, what is happening in the environment, etc. Any problem over there, nice for also monitoring function. Here has a dashboard. Okay. So another powerful feature here for this Vim1 web client will be generating reports. Now the reports can actually generate not only for backup infrastructure. I can generate reports for Hyper-V and also VMware. Later, I will give you some sample what kinds of report that you can generate with the data that you actually gather by the Vim1 client software earlier. Okay? So they have a lot of predefined reports here. You can even create your own custom report if you want to. But I will not suggest the custom report for beginner like all of us because you are not very good or expert in reporting yet. So after you play around with all this predefined report, maybe later is a better time for you to maybe venture and try on the custom report later on. Okay? So business view. Now, if you plan to create reports, we need to select our field first thing. Now you will see that on the right here, I will have the infrastructure view basically detected from your production environment. Now this is exactly the vCenter view that you will see usually. Now in vCenter, normally our host and virtual machine will be separated by data center, by cluster, or even by resource pool. Now from the physical infrastructure from vCenter point of view, it is not easy for us to separate them into different region, different country, different, for example, branches, etc. Most of the time, it will be combined and consolidated into maybe workload kind of grouping or maybe host level kind of grouping. Especially now, a lot of countries, they are utilizing shared service where they centralize all the equipment into one single data center location with handfuls of equipment. So they are owning or using a virtual machine level resources instead of hosts. Now, how can I easily able to categorize virtual machine, not by using the infrastructure view. I can create additional business view here in Vim1, for example, as you can see here. I can create category in Vim1 to have my own design category to granularly separate the virtual machine into smaller grouping. As compared to the one from infrastructure view, this is our own design here to indicate from business point of view. That's what they call business view. Yeah? This virtual machine is handled or maybe serving by which division or a business unit, for example. Now, by this, we can have more category and more granular selection when we are trying to generate reports. For example, if the company would like to generate reports on the usage based on different branch of its virtual machine level, we can have this category first, predefined, and then I can select it as one of the criteria for me to generate reports based on the category here. So this gives you an additional options for you to create even more granular reports. Okay? So this is another function for business view here, mainly designed for you to create more granular reports here. Okay? Now Vim1 comes with a basic lab, but this lab doesn't show you the full